before we start. 10. Alright, good. Alright, welcome to episode 17 of Drawing Blood. As you can see on my screen, I got the old Twitch thing, the Twitch animation we put up this morning. And I'm going to be using this file to continue on scene 1 of our trailer. And I'm going to have to move some stuff around. 2 o'clock crept up on me, so we're going to have to adjust some of this stuff. But the beginning should remain the same pretty much. So, what's happening here? Welcome to Drawing Blood. Those of you just joining us, this is an inside look on our video game #Blood. That's a top-down adventure, all hand animated, and programmed by our talented crew in Florida and beyond. I don't know if they're on yet, but they'll be joining us. And we're going to get into kind of scaring this owl off and having another vampire pop into the scene here. So let me open up some stuff, try to navigate my way through this. Because I know I moved this down and guided the owl for the Twitch. So we're going to save as first of all. Oh boy, I'm tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so. Okay, animation, intro, I'm going to call this. And just like that, Riverhead answers back. All day. Well, I guess it's not very quiet all day. No, it's been bad all day. Bob's to my right, too, if you have any background questions. So we'll call that animation. Alright, so I'm going to move this branch back down. I'm going to unguide the owl. Lock him up. This is also playing notoriously slow because we have a whole lot of textures here that I'm going to unguide and stuff. So that looks about right. I could probably move the whole thing down. I'm going to keep that on. I'll keep the vampire on. Now it's playing okay. So let's see what we got here. Okay. So the owl can actually get surprised, and what I want to happen is like a vampire kind of pops up like right next to the owl, kind of scares him off and stuff too, and he's going to be creeping on the branch. And what I did last Friday, actually, we had a really quick zoom in to get to the scene 1 where Becky is. Now I sort of adjusted things so it's going to be a slow pan, and we're going to reveal more vampires kind of popping onto these branches and stuff to kind of amp up the danger before we get right to the fighting. So we're going to work on the pan a little bit today. Hey, I finally caught another stream. I love those backgrounds, by the way. Thank you. Well, yeah, Bob is in charge of backgrounds. I kind of took a stab at this one, but I used all the textures he's been making and harvesting and all that stuff to make this part alive. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with that too. It was sort of relaxing to do after animating. You know, just concentrate on one drawing is nice when I don't really get that a lot. So what I'm going to do here is start roughing out some stuff. I want to get... So that's that. So let me grab a field guide so I can see what's going on here. Alright, I'll show you what I can... So, yeah, this isn't even an old one. So I got a bunch of bats in this one too. Alright, so let me grab... I always bring a field guide in so I know what action safe is and all that good stuff. And I really wanted to frame this first shot pretty nice to have the focus on being the moon. But I could probably push this branch over a little bit so we can get a little more... I know the owl's kind of a side character, but if we're going to add vampire popping up, I might want to push him over a little more. We'll see what we can get away with. So I'm going to grab everything here. add to it. I'm going to try to push this as far over as I can without mucking up too much of the background. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to add a little more to the branch so we get that in TV safe. Alright, so we don't need that. So I'm simply just going to add the brush tool here. Just continuing off screen. Alright, go to brush 400. I cleaned up the background as the same as I would clean up the characters, just to make it feel like we're all on the same sort of quote-unquote team. I noticed some Flash backgrounds, you know, that we throw line weight away into the breeze and stuff, but I kind of wanted to feel like if they're the classic days when they're using field guides and stuff, that they would be using the same field guide and the same ink to clean up this. So that's why anytime I clean up something, it'll be an amalgamation of the 400%. So I'm going to add some of this texture. Compliments of Bob again. Can twist it off a little bit. Okay. So right now, got the moon. I'm going to actually erase this branch now too. Right there. So we kind of have a more clear view of the moon. I don't want to erase that. Okay. So the owl
hosted by somebody. I'm not sure what that means, but
is hosting now. Yeah, I'm not sure what any of that means. Oh
thank
my!
you.
But thank you, Hub Gaming 12. Thank you, Hub Gaming. I appreciate that. One day someone's going to explain all this Twitch stuff, and I'll either be excited or scared.
17 times you would think we would.
17 times I got it down. Where is this owl? Did I move everything?
Jack left out.
Okay, so let me move that over. No problem. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you. And is there any way we can have people subscribe to your thing from here? Let us know, because I'm not sure how to do that. And we can follow you, or does if anyone can let me know anything about Twitch. I explained it to my wife. I was like, "Oh, I was on Twitch today," and her and I don't have a lot of there's not a lot of technology in our room. Uh-oh! Who is it? John? Do you want to answer that?
No, really.
Call from Redmond.
Well, I would answer in case it's someone on the answering machine.
Hello, Pixel 73 Studios.
The perils of going live. Maybe that's our big break from Hollywood. Alright, so I'm going to move this owl over a little more to get him in action save. What I should do is make him a symbol, but... So... And I want to make sure the timing's right on him too, so I'm going to have to adjust some stuff on him. Like, I'll probably have the owl turn a little later now. Kind of like he sees the vampire go open up, and then he'll turn, and then he'll pop off and get scared. So let me retime that. Let's see what frame we're here. 57. So I'll start having him turn around. Let's move it like that. Okay. So yeah, that turn, it's playing so slow. I wonder if it's this fog. I bet it's the fog that's doing it. If you want, we can talk after your stream. I would be happy to explain whatever I know about Twitch. Yeah, let's do it. If you want to say, you can email me at, I think there's a ton of room to make this kind of art streams to look amazing and be more engaging with the viewers. Yeah, I do want to be engaging with the viewers for sure. So, and I don't know what I'm doing about that stuff. But if you want to email me at Chris at Exit 73 Studios, We can exchange contact information and maybe set up a phone call.
Yeah.
But that would be great. And it's studios with S at the end too. Like, even though we only have one. Okay. So I'm gonna get rid of that. He doesn't need drawing blood anymore. Is it business or?
Yeah, business. Filmmakers in Long Island. There's other people in Long Island.
There's other people making films on Long Island? Damn it, now there's 3 of us.
No, he was a live action guy.
Oh, still only 2. We did it. Alright, so what happens here is the owl's kind of suspicious, but now, like, I'm gonna have a vampire just kind of appear. Out of nowhere, and maybe I can have an owl get scared. I'm going to extend this symbol to 240 frames, which is the 10-second mark. Sure, that sounds amazing. Would be really cool to see some subs or follow notification animation.
I think we had one up there.
What does that mean? Do you know what it means?
The
Like you get an animation if someone
I think when
says...
someone follows us, we made like a...
I know we made a sound effect.
We did like a sound effect with Becky being surprised and it pops up.
Oh, really?
We did that.
And we can make this kind of look like this part?
Well, like when
something-
somebody
Gotcha.
subscribes to us, it pops up on everybody else.
Oh man, it's overwhelming sometimes getting like managing everything. I feel like when it's just 2 of us, I feel like just getting LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook feels like a full-time job, and it doesn't pay anything. Oh, these are already one. Never mind. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Me and Cody set one up, I think.
Oh, okay.
When we first started.
If it wasn't for Bob and Cody doing all the tech stuff, I would just be screaming on a corner like a crazy person.
Like Creed was
Like this is how I'll get my name out there. I'll just go to the top of a building and yodel. All right, so he's gonna get shocked, and then a vampire is gonna pop out. So what I like about this style is I feel like there's...
what contact were they? I missed it before. Hub Gaming was looking for...
Can you write down your contact? Yeah, do you want to write down... Can I send the message? Or do you want to just write down Chris at exit73studio.com? This is my email address. Feel free to reach out. I was saying about the style, what I look... we are discombobulated today. Neither of us got sleep last night. What I like about this style is that it doesn't matter how cartoony we get with it, which is always just a fun way to play with it. You go, ooh, like that, you'll get a little surprised here.
We could say probably have better success yodeling on top of a building.
Yeah, no, there's some truth to that.
Not in Riverhead.
No, there's too
There's
many.
too many people
There's
there.
too much
That
contending.
market-
There's too much yodeling outside.
That market's being
Yeah,
taken
no,
up.
there's enough people screaming outside already.
But most of them don't have shirts on. Or
At least a Friday, I feel like people are really
it's a little crazy.
out in force. That's just the Thursday. None of those weekend warriors.
Sit soldiers.
So we're gonna stretch out his body here. Trying to think if his wings should. Or maybe I'll get scared like that. Alright, so I'm just gonna make sure it doesn't look too big. Alright, I might shrink that down a little bit. Let's do another rough. We'll do a settle on him too, because this is going to be a big pop. No, well, at least we're building an audience with blood, Cody. Everything else we post on Facebook doesn't get a lot of attention. Blood seems to be doing all right, which is fine with us because that's our personal project. got those kind of bushy eyebrows going here. Extend the mouth a little bit. It's got sort of those jowls, as owls sometimes. Well, not jowls on owls.
Jowls.
Owl jowls. That's a hipster band, I'm sure. All right. So the shoulders are wings up. We'll rustle some feathers here. Add some shadow there, and I think that'll be good enough for that. And then, so we're going to retime that just to pop a little closer, actually, to when he kind of gets revealed. Trying to see if I like that timing. A little closer, even. Just erasing frames there. A little closer still. I might have to just push that over a little bit. How'd that closer to my original timing? Okay, I can live with that. And if I need to, I could just erase some of these actual these out frames. There's the siren. It's 2 o'clock. That's perfect. All right. So I'm gonna clean that guy up. Use that as sort of my. You'll have to excuse me. Riverhead's a calling. Oh, just in case. I swear they wait until we do this. Alright, so I usually clean up, as I mentioned earlier, brush for 400%. Sometimes I'll go into like 700% with a thicker brush, though, to get these keys out. Especially with a smaller character. I notice it doesn't, a little too thick. I notice it doesn't take a lot more time, and I have a little more control with the thicker brushes, and I don't know if it's I just press less hard because it covers more area, but when I do like tight in-betweens, I really start to hurt my hands. And the thinner the brush, for whatever reason, it hurts more, and that could be completely psychological, but I remember when, I used to work at Augenblick Studios, and we did a show called Super Jail, season 1 there. And it was all brush 3 and a lot of drawings. It was a really intense kind of show. I mean, there's not a lot of still frames there. And boy, was my hands a wreck after that season. Let's do the jowls here.
Can't do the same thing after Team Mizzou. Just my.
No, it's
just
with
my heart.
Bob's heart was in a different place.
My soul was crushed.
It was fun. It was a small team. I love the small team. I would hope so after we have a team of just four or five guys making this, and Bob and I are the only two in the studio. I love Super Jill. Me and some friends have been oh, yeah, we did season 1. So I'm a little confused. Is Becky's last name Belmont or Brewster? Good question. When we first did it, it was Belmont when we were first pitching. Because,
as a TV show.
As a television show. Right now, because, we don't want to really step on any toes. We're kind of referencing enough right now that we can't. I don't even know if that
it's a little too much reference.
Little too on the nose, so it's Brewster now. But it still has sort of 80s connotations and all that stuff.
And it's a It was a name from another vampire movie that
Yeah.
we liked.
So, and it was something from another vampire movie. So, it's not Belmont because we don't, if we're making a Vampire Hunter game, we can't really go take in.
It used to be a Vampire Hunter TV show, so it was a little
Yeah, it's a
less-
little less egregious. I'm gonna go like that, I think. So now it's Brewster, and that's. I know there's been some news floating around that, and it might even be in our old pitch packet if anyone dredged that up. But no, we decided to kind of streamline the style a little from that pitch book too to make this game way more cartoony. But we definitely wanted to keep like the double B's going because I like alliteration too. Just feels right. Alright, so let's get the shadow into here. We'll connect that here. Okay, so I'm going to fill in the shadow. I'm going to color this, see if it looks right. It's a cute enough drawing. Maybe I'll even add another wing over here to kind of really make it cartoony. See if that looks right. Lift that up. Yeah, I think that'll be funny. So he's going to kind of shoot off once the vampire shows up anyway, and then I'm going to show you a trick we do with feathers. We've animated a fair number of sort of feathers in our past. Or, you could do it with a leaf, too. So the vampire is going to pop up. He'll just kind of like appear out of smoke or drop in from the sky. I haven't figured that out yet. But then the owl's gonna kind of just disappear in like a puff of smoke too. Like he'll fly off and real quick, cartoon-like. So I'll show you how I do the feathers. So I'll make the feathers a little bigger. Say it's something like that. Alright, I'll kind of skew it to that. Maybe a little bit. It's a little cheat here to get a lot of debris. And I'm a big fan of debris or anything that kind of like accompanies the movement of your animation. And so like we'll add a lot of smoke and a lot of rocks falling, and we're doing a few kind of promotional videos now for other video games where we're using a ton of debris and smoke and all that stuff, and you'll get so much mileage out of it because you can hide so much stuff with it. It's a really kind of neat trick. And I sort of noticed wrong one. I was watching, this is not a great example, but I was watching Akira when I was in high school, and my art teacher at the time, who kind of got me into it, was like, there was this scene when he crashes on the motorcycle, and we had a laser disc or something, and we were still framing it a bunch, and he showed me like how the character just disappeared for a few frames, but then did this giant explosion, and he saw all this like cigarette butts and all these cans and stuff, and it just really made the whole thing feel like so much more alive. And now Akira is one of the most well-animated films of all time, but the point being is that you can cover up the character and kind of influence the movement with a bunch of just debris that you kind of make like that. And now what Akira did was animate individual pieces to kind of mask that debris. So, and what I'm doing here is quite the opposite, where I'm going to take one image, I'm going to make it a symbol and kind of float it around for effect. But essentially it does the same thing. So I'm going to call this feather, or owl feather 01. Alright, so that's the symbol. Now what I'm going to do is what we call shimmer. So I'm going to trace back it a few times, probably just twice, just to make it feel not like a puppeting piece. And it's okay to be a little loose with this since it's a smaller kind of thing. Trace it back one more time. Alright. Color that. Watch that last night with the same group of friends as well. It's amazing what they did with smoke effects in the film. Yeah, and at the end of Akira with the fight versus Tetsuo and all that stuff with the smoke and the buildings crumbling and everything. I can't tell, but I think it was all on ones, which anyone who's animated effects animation would know that is a feat. Because that is one hard thing to do. And I notice when I put stuff of ours on ones, sometimes it looks pretty shoddy and stuff. So, and we do super cartoony stuff, so I couldn't imagine doing kind of realistic things. So now what I'm going to do is rename the symbol again. I'm going to call it Owl Feather Motion. So this is just going to be the motion of a feather, kind of going back and forth, back and forth. And then you make it one more time to make it fall. So I'll grab this, I'll make it 24 frames. I think 48 actually. It'll be a 2-second cycle. So you notice there's a little bit of curvature to the stem of the feather. So what I'll do is make a straight line like that. I'll bend it down, try to match the curvature as best I can. We could shrink that a little bit. Now I'm going to make this my guide, so it'll follow the guide itself. Twist it so it looks like it's on the same line. Go to 25, which is the second, or it'll be frame 1 if you're doing a loop. Follow the curvature again. Kind of want to keep it adjacent with the line. And then back to 48 to make sure, or 49 in this case. So now I'm going to hit motion. So you can see this is, I mean, it's really stiff now. So what I usually do is a classic ease in, ease out. So at frame 13, I'll go -50, then +50, since you kind of want it floating at the highest points and kind of going quickest in the middle, and vice versa. -50, not -250. Can't do that. +50. Alright, so kind of have this feather going back and forth now. Now you could hardly see the shimmer on this, so we might have to do some stuff about that to make it look a little less puppety. I F6 all this so we get rid of all those keyframes, or the motion tween, then Shift F5, so at frame 48 it'll return to frame 1. So there's no downtime. And to make it look less choppy too, you can sort of shoot it on 2s and stuff. And I can show you how to do that too. So now we got this feather kind of floating in place. Now what you're going to do again is make it another symbol. I'm going to call it Owl Feather Falling. gonna take this and say I know the scene is gonna be let's say 5 seconds. Go to the 5-second mark. Then I'm just gonna motion tween it down. Then it'll look like a falling feather. Okay, so now we got that. And now what you can do, see after the owl disappears, copy this a bunch of times. Kind of place it in where the owl was going to be. Can modify, transform it from another one. Flip horizontal. Frame 13. Another one. Frame 7, say. Then you get this kind of thing. And you can have them float up first and then fall down. And what I try to do is never let them cross paths, so I constantly adjusting them like that. So I don't like when things go to them. You know, and that looks a little puppety, but with that and like the debris and all that stuff, and I'll have all them pop off, we can kind of use that as sort of an adjustment layer. And you can have them float up first too. So let's just keep that on guide for now, since I'm not totally in love with that, but that's the premise, and you can do it with leaves and stuff. And I would probably want to shoot it on 2s just to make it look a little more natural. So what I would do, an example of that is I'll keep it on 1s in the middle, so I'll F6 this whole thing. I remember frame 13 was the middle part. Then I'll take that and I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. It just gives it a little more kind of feeling of that it's just traditional animation. And that's sort of what Flash I think does best. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. And then I would kind of follow the shimmer in the same kind of regard. Like 25. So I'd copy this. I'm just going to copy the chart here so I know. Now the problem with this is when you copy a bunch of them, you're going to have to retime it out so it looks like it's all on the same chart. But this gives it a little more life. And what I'm doing here is copying the shimmer to be the same exact chart. So when I synchronize the symbols, there won't be any, like it won't shimmer on a frame that it's still. There you go, synchronize symbols. Now you'll see it strobing here too, but then I would just do the exact same thing here with the pan. And then it will fall at the right pace. Yeah, it's a mixture of the two.
It was about the 1s and 2s on the
Oh, Akira?
Akira.
Yeah, no, I figured it was all on. To have that done in the time period it was done in too is just a real feather in the cap, because that's a hard film to match in quality. A lot of people argue it's the best animated film, and I believe them when they say that. So this slows down Flash quite a bit too, but to get it on the right chart, this is what you'll have to do. And that's why I have it on guide now too. Plus the feathers might be a little too much anyway by the time the vampire hits, but this is just sort of a thing we can do. And then you'll see they're even on the opposite chart, so you'll have to do that again. So anyway, we'll keep that on guide layer for now. Let's get back to animating. So I'll have an overshoot and settle on this. So I have the original frame. Now we're going to work on the overshoot. And then we can work on the antic to get to that. So I'm not afraid to really overshoot these when you have to for something like this. Especially the secondary characters, I've noticed you can really play with their cartooniness a little more. And I even noticed in animation when we're kind of designing secondary characters, they always seem to have a little more fun with them because I don't think people overthink it. Ooh. How you doing? Hoot hoot. Send that out on top. So what I did there was just grab the corner piece and use the control to make it a little thinner on top. You can do it with roughs too. Working on an animation for a client. Oh, could you tell us what client, or is it ND8, or is it a fun project? Any info on that? Always curious what other people are working on in animation. We're doing a bunch of kind of indie game work right now. It's been a lot of fun. We get to really play with expanding our styles, and we're really excited to start showing some of the stuff because we just did an animatic for one that we're really happy with. It's super cartoony and it's like a pretty action heavy, but like playful action. And we're starting an animatic for another one that's a little more heavy-handed, but the styles, we kind of figured out what we're going to do with the style yesterday. But before that, we were nervous. We were like, I don't know if we can do these characters.
I'm still not sure.
Next Friday, just stay tuned if we keep the job. So that's good. Do a little sweat. We'll do sweat debris on the other one.
Deals for Envision Healthcare.
Envision Healthcare. All right. How long is it? Is it a 30-second piece? Is it for the web?
Oh, they're like stories, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they said they're animating, like doctors and nurses are telling stories, and then.
Oh, I love I love when you get the narration kind of embedded, and it harkens me back to when I first started. My first job was Shorties Watching Shorties, which is the same premise of we took comedians like jokes and stuff and just animated to it, and I love that idea. We tried to pitch one to, I guess, WWF or WWE. There's some episodes online. It's a series of big episodes. This is the fast one. Well, if you want to show it, show the link up here. You're welcome to post it up here if you want people to check out what you've been working on. Happy to show off anyone's work.
Yeah, I'm always glad for it to go. I'm always glad for.
Yeah, it works weird. It's like you're so excited to get it, and then you're kind of excited for it to be over too. I've noticed. Maybe that's an age thing. No, we're kind of in the honeymoon phase with all these ones too, where we got the animatic in good places, and we're kind of getting the style. But when we get down to the nuts and bolts of finishing it, I'm always brimming with anxiety to get it done. We got some new backgrounds Bob's working on too. We're excited to show those off when we get some more of it. Some more kind of it doesn't just take place in a school blood or in the nicer parts of town. We got some kind of spooky stuff going on now. No, but we did this thing with the spoken word thing with Ric Flair, old interview. He's just a hilarious sort of wordsmith, I thought, and that one was fun to do. It never went anywhere. I say pitched it. We tagged Ric Flair on Twitter, and he didn't see it, or he did and was insulted. I can't tell. So that's sort of how we pitch stuff. It's like if no one notices it, we're like, moving on, because it wasn't good enough. It was a fun style, though. You could show the video somewhere. I could probably just show it on Flash, I guess. Oh, thanks. Yeah, feel free to everyone check this out. More animators. I like that we're sort of just have a group of artists and animators in here. It's refreshing. We don't get to talk to too many of them. Let's see, what did I do here? Okay, so I did do another side. Cool. Alright, I'll do the sweat on another layer. And what I'll do for this settle is I'll stagger it, which I showed a little bit last week, when I'll in between this kind of straight and stagger it down so he's really kind of screaming. Alright. See what this looks like with him here. Yeah, that'll be funny. So he kind of sees the vampire, and then a vampire is either gonna pop. I'm trying to think which would be better, like if one just falls down from the sky and lands on the branch kind of menacingly, or if he just sort of appears out of nowhere. What do you think, Bob? Like, I'm gonna have, when we're panning down, like, I'm gonna start having vampires kind of fall from the sky, or should, like, they just sort of appear like this one did?
Well, I almost wonder, like, just have them on the trees when you pan down, like they're...
Yeah, I'll have them when we're panning down, but, like, to scare this owl off, I wanted one to, like, fall down here, like, kind of growl, and then we start panning down while they're falling. Or do you think that's too much? I mean, we could just have this guy, and then the owl fly off.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I could just have that. Well, I'd have the owl fly off anyway. If we're all sharing, me and my friend have recently finished a first draft pilot episode for series. Throw it on there. Should they have a computer animation? Oh, I'll show you that one. It's a little bit of morph in here. I still want to add a cape to him too, I'm thinking. And then he just disappears, sort of. Like the cape kind of blows up. But he's all on ones. Most of them's on ones. So let's see, I got the bat cycle here. Just a regular floating up. Then he kind of scales down, gets a little bigger, and then you can kind of see the color starts morphing and stuff. And that is just, you take a color and shape tween it, like in a box above it, just to get an exact kind of measurement of when it has to change. Then he opens up. Here, then it's just pop to that kind of stuff. And if I take that off, and that, we don't need that anymore. Someone's having a good time outside. Alright, so we'll do an antic now of the owl going down. We'll have him take off. This one needs to be panning to be 11 minutes. We might change some jokes and swearing. Oh, we're okay with swearing. So we do our fair share of it here. I try to refrain on the Twitch because I don't know, someone young's watching or something. Don't want to give them they could hear it elsewhere on the internet. Not here. But no, once the cameras go off, me and Bob are like sailors. Cody too. Yeah, share it, please, everyone. I love to see people's animation and stuff. We get a big kick out of it. It's always a source of inspiration. Knowing other people are going through the torture that is animation to what it takes to make it.
This was Chihuahuas. This one was. It looked like it's a lot 3D.
Oh, that looks great. Is this? Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's very cool. Oh, I'll check that out after that. Wow, there is. Is that 3D? That has to be 3D. Looks fantastic. How long does that take to do? How do I say chihuahuas? Chihuahuas. How long did like those take to do? And there's a Toon Boom. Something I animated a while back. We got a bunch to check out. Oh, that's great too. I like that timing. All right. In a few weeks per episode, I did the character animation and Toon Boom, and the layout I received CD4, C4D for the 3D stuff.
That's the one we gave away.
That's what. Oh, that's. Oh man, those are tough times. We won a free copy of C4D. I don't know, 5 years ago. We won it we won it in a festival, and Bob and I had no work coming in, and we were just like, we were doing work, but it was for dirt cheap, and we weren't affording anything. So we had to take our trophy essentially and sell it to pay the bills. It fetched a pretty handsome price back then too, so I was okay with it. And since we're not a 3D studio, it didn't feel like I was losing much, other than the symbolic gesture of winning something and then having to immediately sell it. It was like, oh man, we need to sell this. Those were tough times. Yeah, all this stuff we're seeing looks amazing. There's a blur frame there. Get that out there. What I'll do here is actually make this a symbol and make it a little bit of a stagger. So he's kind of like shivering, like scared before he pops off. So I'll go to frame 5, and we're going to in between it, kind of like we did last week with Becky tackling the vampire. And let's see what was going to happen when he gets scared. I'll do one eye big, one eye small. Get it up there. Then we can have like that sweat pouring out the whole time. kind of an homage to how cartoony this really can be. Cody, maybe we can add this owl to the game. Like he could be an element in the game. We're yelling at Cody to put the bird. We had a bird related conversation earlier. Get the birds in the game. In other words. All right, let me change the color on that. No. And shot down. That's how we do things here.
It's a democracy.
It's a democracy where I have no votes.
We have no programming skills, so therefore.
We have no programming skills, so we're really just animating for ourselves right now until Cody gets all the stuff in. No. Oh, what is this? Those are awesome guys. Let's go. Will the game be short? Will not be a game short. Oh, okay, you don't. How about you spend lots of time animating and then I decide not to put it in? No. That's the same as it ever was, Cody.
That's just a Tuesday.
That's no. That's why we're staying up late, right? No. All right. Get the wing a little bigger. You notice with some of this cleanup too, I'm not exactly too concerned with too much of the line. I try to clean up with a little bit of confidence in the line and stuff. So if I don't hit this red line exactly, I'm not very concerned with that. It's really the in-betweens that make the staggers work anyway. So it's not so much the extremes in the stagger. Alright, so now I'm going to just try to wing it here, try to in between this. Do you ever find ways to streamline, simplify your workflow near the end of a big project? That's a fun. Well, usually by the end, I feel like we're most comfortable with the drawings or the style, and plus we accrued what hopefully would be some amount of reuse in the animation. So I find it's kind of like a bell curve almost, where the middle of the project seems to be the fastest for us. Mm-hmm. And then the end, with the revisions and all the kind of nuts and bolts of everything. But I find the animation goes a little quicker because you can start to reuse stuff. Like if you have a lip sync mouth or you have a character set up already. But it's weird because sometimes, in the beginning of the project when you spend all day and say it's a 30-second project and it's the first day of animating and you get like a second and a half done, you're like, oh, this is going to take over a month to do, are you kidding me? And then the next day gets a little faster, then it gets a little faster and you get a little more comfortable. And by the end it was like, oh, we hit the schedule. It's just the beginning seems so overwhelming sometimes. But no, some colorful language outside. So no, it's the most daunting part for me is usually the beginning. I feel like, other than wanting to have it finished at the end, it's the beginning for me.
Sheer determination to finish it is.
Well, I find starting it is always the real hard part. I was talking to a animation buddy of mine, Mike Harlow, this morning actually, and he sort of was asking like how you start something, like, because he has a really big idea he's working on and he's been working on it for a while, sort of asking for advice how we would start it. And it sounds cliche and stuff, but I always just say just start it, because once you're in it then you'll want to work on it more. It's like opening up Opening up the Flash file or whatever you use to animate and you're just staring at a blank slate is the most intimidating part, I find. Because there's nothing there other than the idea in your head. But, you know, get a few drawings down, you get inspired, you like what you're doing or you don't, and you kind of feel your way out while you're working on it. And that's how we do the majority of our shorts. The majority of our client work, too, I find, is just sort of experimenting until we figure it out. But sitting there and overthinking it, I find, never helped anyone. And, you know, then you'll have these mini breakthroughs, and then you're all of a sudden you're sitting back a month later and you have a project finished. And then you'll be wishing you started earlier. All right. Let's see your. Do you ever find? Oh, okay. You guys are all checking out each other's art. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited after the stream to check out some of them. And the reason we're doing this on Thursday is I'll be out in the city actually seeing more art tomorrow at a film festival for thesis students at SVA. A lot of people graduated this year. It's a long festival from what I hear. Graduated from school, just watch the whole thing after the stream later. Alright. So what I'll do here is probably a stagger. So there's going to be a lot of staggering going on. But I could shoot this one on 2s, I think. Or a combination of so it doesn't look so quick, but it's weird. I have this weird thing when this whole shot is panning. It's a slow pan, so shooting it on 2 shouldn't be hard. But I noticed that, you know, you get a lot of strobing when you shoot on 2s, and less strobing on 3s. So it sometimes 3s is the answer to making it look a little smoother. Depends on the pan, really. Interesting. And are these ideas you guys hope to pitch later down the line, or is it just something you're working on the side? Is it a collaboration?
Fair share of those.
Of pitches?
Of wasted pitches.
Yeah, we've had. Oh, at a concert outside now. No, we've had, I don't know how many pitch books. Hey, how's it going? Zachary Morgan. Yeah, I've made all 3 on 3s, first time doing so. I like 3s too. I used to have a thing against them, and it was just because I figured 2s are better and 1s are better than 2s, and it was a real sort of, I don't know, just a naive way to think, because 3s can look very charming, especially on a nice ease out, and the drawings are real nice. I find it just feels a lot more natural or something, or a lot more hand-drawn is probably the answer. But sometimes, like, I'll look at something like anime or like an action scene in that, and I'll see what they're shooting on. It's never really a straight thread, but sometimes, you know, they'll hold for 7s and they'll shoot on 2s real quick. I can't get that timing. I've been trying my damnedest. Yeah, maybe we pitched to Hardman near the beginning of the show creation, but it's about making the pilot solid before we can move on. I don't do animation, but I am from Georgia. Oh, you're close to Cody. The UK, studying in Bristol. Look at this. We've got a global community here. That's awesome. That's what that's a cool part about animation. I feel like it is becoming kind of a world thing, not just used to just be an LA thing, and and sort of at the early days it was booming in New York, and then LA sort of took
Not
that.
at all.
Yeah, no, after the Fleischers left, it was kind of all LA or bust. But now it's sort of blossoming in these little pockets, and it's really cool. I mean, I like it. I'm all for more people doing it. All right, that looks cute on ones. No, it is. It's been around for over 125 years, and people, animation is a universal language. I believe that. I really do. It's something you're drawn to from an early age. There's so much artistry to it. And the fact that 2D is just still around is a real testament to people actually just liking this, and it doesn't really matter what age. So I just brought this guy into color right now. And I try to color with no close gaps in there. Let's see, what do I got here? What's it doing to, right? Nope. Wrong one. Wrong one again. And again. I was 3 for 3 on that one. Who's writing me? Oh, my buddy Dennis. That should be a raunchy text, I'm sure.
Can't imagine being professional.
You don't think Dennis will be professional? Maybe it's about his stock portfolio. Who's right? I'm from Brazil. I work at a local studio. If you guys want to check it out. Yeah, let's check it out. Yeah, it's nice to see. I love that. Just like a lot of just artists and animators are showing up. The little I know about Twitch, and that's very little. I just figured it was sort of a gaming community. So it seemed like a decent hybrid to animate a video game on it, but to see all the animators on it is inspiring. Alright, so he's scared here. Now what I could do, I'm going to keep this here just in case. Control-Alt-C. Let's see what it looks like staggered. If it's worth. That's a little more scared. We could probably do that. And let's chop it up, see what it looks like on some of these twos. Yeah, that's a little more fun, I think, to do. Then we can have some sweat pop out. Alright, so I doubled it up here because this will be a complete sweat cycle. So I try to have no tangents on this, so I don't want the sweat to really come from behind. Well, it could come from behind a little bit, but I don't like really crossing lines. And I noticed with a lot of Flash animation, especially, people get very layer heavy and symbol heavy, so they'll kind of just put symbols and throw them to the wind a little bit. But animation's just about, just as much about negative space, too. You're kind of trying to frame a silhouette here. So, it's what's the most legible to the audience. So we'll keep that. I kind of like that timing. Cool stuff. Cool stuff from your studio. I missed the link for your video. Yeah, can you go back up on these things? I have no idea how to... You guys are giving me a lot of stuff to check out after this. I'm not going to get any work done. And I don't think I mind. Alright, so... Let's just clean up this real quick. Just replace that. These are just dots. Can keep that one. I think just gonna wing this animation because why not? Alright. Alright, now I usually grab a color from the same character, since the owl's eyes are kind of this lightish blue, we can use that as wet. Okay, so what I'll do is copy that. I'll take this frame over here, so we can have a little cycle going here. So it's sweating like that. Then what I'll do, transform, flip it horizontal. Now I could make this a symbol too if I needed to. I'll have to check it out, but something like that. Make sure it's not hitting anything. Cool. Alright, so we can antic that. We can stagger this down now. Let's see how much time we have here. Alright, so he's not going to stick around for too long. Now here I could actually shoot feathers out too, if I wanted to. And I might do that as a debris layer last. So what I'm going to do is something I don't usually do right now, but I want to make sure I'm working outside the work area. So when he flies off, so he'll kind of come towards the camera. Maybe shoot off, you know, this way. What I'll do is have them here we go again. So he's going to have this kind of arc going up. Or do I want the wings to go? It's almost the opposite. The wings have to come down here. Because he's floating up here. That'll go down. Oh, that's removed together. Oh, good call. Better after fixing boom. Yeah, we've never tried Toon Boom.
We're gonna have to.
I think at one point we're gonna have to, just because sort of Animate seems to be doing its best to lose customers. And then we'll have a go quick here. Something like that. Let's see how that looks outside of the symbol. Yeah, and then he'll disappear, and we could choose to have a vampire if we need to there. Alright, let's rough that out a little bit better. Let's get this all lined up before we do any of that. So it goes down there. There's two more. What's from Flash in 2015? I grew up with Flash MX, so I've been using it ever since, really. The whole game where even Bob's backgrounds are done. We're trying to make it look textured and stuff, but... Alright. And here's where we can get, like, you know, feathers flying off. Kind of popping into the screen. Just a little big, but... And, you know, you leave like a dust trail like that, and that's what I'm talking about. The debris kind of makes it, like, it helps you with the action. Yeah, that'll be fun. Alright. So let's finish this beginning part here. Feel like it so far. Got some great tools. Yeah, I want to check it out. I mean, I hear it's a little pricey, and I know they're using. Are they using it at SVA now? Does anyone know?
I think they are.
They are?
I think it's kind of part of the...
Is that Cody talking to us?
Yeah, but that was the problem they were having at SVA is all the New York places weren't using it, so they didn't really.
Yeah.
They weren't.
I guess New York is still kind of Flash centric. And it's all tools, really, so whatever you're comfortable drawing in, and, you know, then, of course, if you have a studio work and they need you to use a certain program, obviously, you have to do that. But for personal projects, I just find whatever you're comfortable with the most, and then, you know, I rarely feel like the tools inside help with any of the hand drawing stuff. Now, there's camera moves and stuff, which, you know, that's important too, but for draftsmanship and stuff, it's whatever you draw best in, I think. What's happening here?
I'll show you.
Is it the guy who called you?
No.
Oh.
He actually might just be stopping by at some point. So.
Oh. Gonna drop in?
Yeah, because he's from...
What part?
He's rich. It's like,
Oh, okay. He works in film?
yeah.
That can mean a lot of things.
What can it?
Yeah. Was it a student?
No. He actually needed help with animation for probably a project. So I think
Gotcha.
he wanted to talk.
Just talk prices.
Prices.
Yeah. That always scares people off.
Yeah.
That usually scares off the amateurs from the pros. Do that one there. Get discount on it. Now, what I don't like about Adobe, and boy, is that a long list. Part of it is that we have to rent it, and then they keep changing the fundamentals of the program overnight. I was reading to one of our Facebook friends. They changed something about doing groups, and it just I just always ask why. What's it for? What are they doing this for? It never feels like it's for improvement. But I've had my fights with Adobe. I can't. I'm blue in the face yelling at them. So. Yeah, they'll just have to. I think Toon Boom will beat them. Wish Macromedia would get back to the game. Is that 3? I think we need 3 here. Not that it matters on a stagger, really, but. Here they were planning on doubling the price for Photoshop Land.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think people were using the rest of it, but, you know, everyone and their mom uses Photoshop. So. And that's always a telltale sign that how good is your business. If the thing that people want to use, you have to double it. It was kind of a dirty move. But, you know, we need Photoshop. We use it a bunch more than you would think. I feel like backgrounds are primarily Photoshop nowadays. All right. Photoshop plan isn't changing. They were testing doubling the photo plan, Photoshop and Lightroom.
Yeah, that plan.
What is that? Well, what's Lightroom?
No, that's part of it. Yeah, because like Cody has just that plan right now too.
Oh.
It's like the Photoshop.
It's just,
plan.
but it's still just Photoshop pretty much. Sounds like
Lightroom's kind of, yeah.
Lightroom is for actual photos. I'm
Yeah.
guessing. Yeah. Well, doubling the price, that'll make everyone happy. This is why people pirate stuff. Clip Studio, I haven't heard of that. Alright. Where's this eye here? There. Oh, there it is. It's originally Layer Studios, I think. Is it an animation program or is that a photo program?
Oh, it's the one we tried for 10 minutes and we were like, nope.
Oh, is it the one where
That's
you
another
could
one.
kind of do the...
The rigging.
Yeah, oh yeah, and you could kind of turn the head and all that stuff.
Not for us.
Not for us.
Moho, that was it.
Moho Pro.
Moho Pro.
Moho Pro.
Was no Mo.
No
For
Mo
us.
for Moho Pro. Faux us. Layer based. Oh, animation in Photoshop. Yeah, people do that now too. I guess it's good that there's this many things to kind of amplify animation. Alright, so we've got this. So I'll probably stagger this one down too. Just so it looks really kind of like he's really shaking.
Some serious auto-tuning going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of music going on. Guess people have overly.
Animation project for a studio in Photoshop. Yeah, I've seen they use. I've never been to. It's a long.
It sounds like it's a lot more trying to
process.
getting it out and into like getting it to move. Though they probably have I imagine they have a play tab now. Right?
Yeah, but I never. It's just you have to have the layers timed right. It's really arduous.
Tough, huh?
I haven't used it in a while, but that was way back when Curious was still.
When they were still before they gave up the ghost. I think I get in between this one without any roughs here. Let's see. I always say I can, and then I go back when the Twitch is over and fix it. Oh man, people are really going crazy outside.
It's not a Friday, I'll be honest.
No, it's not. It's not Friday yet. All right. Thank you. That looks lovely. Love the colors. Oh man, we have a lot to check up on. Is anyone here working on a game per se? Anything we can check out there? Or is it all just animation here? Which I'm fine with too. Yes. Nothing to show yet though. How long have you been working on it? Do you have a title? Anything about the game? I want to in the future. Nothing to show yet though. It's I would talk to a person that was very senior in the gaming world, and it's a long process even for the pros. So it's a big time investment, that's for sure. And you can see this being episode 17 of it, and we're getting nowhere in it. You can see why. But they were doing it full time and still took. It's gonna be a VR. Ooh, a VR game. Oh man, I couldn't imagine what it takes to program that. VR game that takes place on a rabbit farm. Been working on it in my off spare time for a couple of years now. No title yet. Couple of years. Wow. So you're in it deep then. Let's go to that one. Might as well. Yeah, I would love to see other game art and stuff on it. I like that game art is sort of opened up a little bit. It's not nothing, or not nothing, but stuff starts. There's a lot more hand-drawn stuff coming out. I think, partially due to Cuphead being such a runaway success. But there's no reason why it shouldn't be. It's just graphics, and if you apply the graphics to it. Alright, let's close the gaps there. And it's so funny, that's the second time today I heard about no one liking Adobe Animate. I thought it was just us. Alright, so let's stagger that one. Alright, I'm gonna break that. Lose these, so we don't need that. We can have this one just show up there. Alright, that feels cartoony and fun. Then this layer will go up above the tree. Alright, let's clean up some of these ones, I suppose. So this is an antic, that can go down here. Can make these antics really funny too. We're treading a weird line with this game where it's sort of dark, but we like to keep it lighthearted and cartoony, and even though it's sort of a serious game, and I don't know, I like the pair of it feeling a little dangerous and a little cute, and so the wing's gonna go up here. It's gonna really spread it out. Same with this one. Oh, that's related. Are you talking about your bunny VR game? Yeah, that we I got to see some VR stuff in action at MagFest, and it seems so comprehensive what you had to do to get it to work. Tall mountain to climb. Did the guy say when he's showing up?
No.
Oh, okay. Just one day?
Just one day, whenever.
Okay. Alright. Now let's make it draw a little funnier. Been working in VR for 3 years. It's a fun tech and fun industry. Is it a completely separate industry from like just interactive stuff? Is it just people dedicate their time to that? I imagine it would have to be, but and we'll keep it small here to not break the tangent. Alright, here, let's make that a straight shadow here. It's a portion of the game industry that's more innovative and exploratory. So you've been in the game industry for a while then, huh? Alright, let's get that. Whoops. So we'll do a blur from here to get to that. I'm wondering if I should almost do like an arc to get to that part too. Like we'll put the head down here. almost like we'll blur the head to do something like that. Now this is just gonna, I'm just gonna try this real quick. That's my first job on a comic shop to the studio. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, we're gonna, yeah, that's what I like about these secondary characters. You can really just, you know, you can change the proportions of them so much. Well, we do that with Becky a lot too. Actually, she changes. I mean, she changes the most probably with the attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you probably want to even expand on this one a little bit. So this one, since it's kind of, it feels like it's almost in motion, we can still like expand on that one to be even a kind of a deeper antic. Then you swoop down. Yeah, I think that'll work. Can make it go a little quicker. Alright, so let's try to make sense of this really rough drawing here. Let's get those two in there. Alright, I'm gonna have to do another rough for this one, I'm afraid. And these blur frames, I just love playing with those. Compliments of Chuck Jones. So you can see like the arc is sort of in the action lines here, and even the volume of the eyes are changing just to get the flow of it. And it's stuff like this that you can really explore in Flash by just drawing it. And it's something that we're sort of losing in the animation community when we get too symbol-based, where, you know, the skull is this very stationary kind of flat thing. And I understand when you had to send everything elsewhere and you need consistency and stuff, but, you know, the charm of the independent studios comes through in the drawings. Not so much the setup of the characters. Probably make that faster. Alright, let's clean that one up. I can get to when he gets a little bigger here. And if any of you guys have questions at any time, I'd like to always give anyone here the opportunity to ask us any questions, and it doesn't have to be about the game. It could be about the animation business. It could be a little mini lesson we could try to teach you on how we would approach an animation problem if you guys have any, or just curious. So the field's always open for that if you guys need any advice or think we could help with that. This rating, Party of Four. Oh, thank you. No, Waco Matrix, I don't know what rating means, but I understand it's a good thing, so thank you. Spear is so iconic. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, and you know, we're just so flattered that word of mouth for Blood is doing what it's doing, because it gives us a lot of inspiration to finish our stuff, and every time we do one of these, I think our confidence builds on, like, oh, we're kind of heading Blood in the right direction, and seeing people respond to it has been a great source of us getting work done for it too. So we really appreciate, just the little things of sharing and telling your friends about this. It's making our work life a lot more rewarding, and that's a priceless thing you can give someone. Just so the animation list with the
video.
your read alert.
Oh, yeah, no, that was just.
Oh, what's that? Okay, you don't know Blood. So Blood is completely animated, traditionally animated, top-down adventure game that's very much in the spirit of Zelda, or Binding of Isaac, or any of the newer ones like that. Kind of set in the setting of 90s Cartoon Network cartoons, very much inspired by stuff like Samurai Jack and Powerpuff Girls and all that kind of stuff. And actually, can you show Bob's going to send you the trailer of actual gameplay, and you can kind of see what I'm fumbling around trying to say. And right now we're just independently doing it. It's all on our free time. Everyone we're working with has kids and other jobs, with the exception of Greg, who has a wife and another job. But, so, Legend and More, it's more kind of, those are animated, I know what you mean, but it's very much kind of inspired by, like, Link to the Past, I think. That's what I think of when I say Zelda. And I know, I'm really aging myself. But, no, that's sort of where my head kind of goes when I think of these kind of games. Though there's been tons of others since then. It's, I think back to when I played a lot more video games as a kid, and
Chris doesn't get sarcasm on
no.
They were big sarcasm.
Oh, those games, yeah. No, I thought, because I know those were traditionally animated on some regard, but no, I think back to when I played video games as a kid and stuff, and Zelda's sort of always in the periphery for me. And it was one of the first games I really dived into and played as a 7-year-old. No, I don't. I don't get sarcasm in text. I try it on text with my wife, and it always fails. All right, so I got this guy.
We haven't played that. We don't have a Switch anywhere.
We don't have a
We
Switch.
should get one.
No, I can tell you this: anything Zelda feels very well crafted and well made, and even the ones I haven't played as much, I've always enjoyed watching them, and I always enjoyed the lore, and I enjoyed what they built from, in its infancy. You could just tell a lot of care and thought went into all them and stuff. And though I prefer the top-down ones, I've watched the programmer Cody play a ton of the 3D ones, and they all have the same kind of feeling, despite the angle or despite the graphics. So I've always loved it, and I don't know, something about the medieval stuff, or whatever that time period is, always felt fun to me too. So let's see. I'm going to clean up this one first because it's sort of my extreme. I loved it. What is?
Cody.
Oh, Cody wrote. And that's our programmer, the future man.
Got all the time in the world to play games.
He still plays video games, even though we're trying to
I don't know
finish.
how are you supposed to do that with 3 kids?
He finds a way.
Sounds
Where there's a
like-
will, there's a way.
playing my kids' games with them.
No, I've been playing Mario Kart with my son, and he just likes playing the first, 100cc. We've beaten the Mushroom Cup 3,000 times. And Super Punch Out. He likes Super Punch Out, which I'm okay with too. But I only have, whatever you call that, Nintendo Mini or whatever. So let's see here. We can do that. We'll get the feathers in. I'll probably separate the feathers on another level just so we can do some nice secondary stuff, but I want to...
Chihuahua's leaving, but that's
Oh! Alright, gotta go. Get back. Well, good luck with all your work, and I hope to see you next week when we'll have more of this exciting owl that has nothing to do with the game.
take a break from the owl and just do...
We might have to do some sprites soon because I have a feeling Cody might actually start working again. Here's hoping. Cody, what are your thoughts? Not going to happen? No, I'm going to clean this up at 400 brush 4 again because this is significantly bigger. And this is sort of the traditional line weight I use anyway. For the subtle small creatures though. Yeah, we got some surprises in store for the intro that we might want to keep the audience out of for a little bit, so we might kind of switch gears next week, get back into some gameplay, sprites and stuff, and we'll show you. It's a little more regimented sort of animation we're going to do, where everything has to be registered and all that stuff, but we can start showing you actual stuff that will be playable in the game, not just watchable. And we got kind of a new level we're working on, so it's going to be monsters that fit into that level. All vampiric, but just sort of, well, we'll show you next week. And I'm really excited to show you guys what the backgrounds Bob's working on right now, because it really feels like we're out of the school finally and stuff, so it's some fun stuff happening. Let's see, I might push the feathers back that way. I'm thinking just give a little more force and a little bit better tangent. Dark shell there, and I'm going to start doing the feathers here. And like I said, I might separate this later. I'm going to see what it looks like. Alright, so then I'll start with that one next to clean that one up. I just want to color this just because sometimes coloring clears my head, especially when I'm in betweening. So I'm going to color this one too. It just helps me define what lines I'm doing and stuff, because with this owl especially, it has tons of line work in it. Then I'm going to color this one. Is that the right color? No, absolutely not. I'll make his talons probably the same as his beak. And I'll make the feathers the dark ones for that. Okay, so. Alright. I mean, it feels like the right motion. Now it's on 3s and stuff, so it's really kind of hard to tell. I'll just end out here, so let's see. And I always fall victim to this where it looks fine on 3s, then I try to kind of make it on 1s or 2s, and then it looks really choppy. I don't know if it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. Let's see, so the feathers are going to get bigger here. Everything's going to get bigger. It's the work area. So I'm just going to rough out the mouth and the jowls a little bit, because I know I'll have to in between that. His wings are coming up. The feathers, I'm going to just follow the debris line here. So the feathers are going to float up here. So I like doing feathers like this because you kind of got the point, like you got the action line within the design. So you can kind of follow just through with this, like how you would animate a snake, in other words. And then you can kind of follow the trajectory. See, that one will kind of go like that. That one, so it floats up like that. This one's going to come over here. And we can cut that stuff off here. We don't need to clean that up necessarily, but just for the sake of in-betweening, I'm going to want it. Might actually need the tail feathers here too. Yeah, then it's just playing with the feathers at the end there. Alright, let's clean this up. You can see 400 now seems a little more daunting all of a sudden. Where remember I started at 700 with the tinier stuff. But in, you know, the essence of the line weight, you wanna, you know, the idea is that we're trying to give the illusion this was all done in the same field. On the same kind of light box with the same paper and the peg bar and all that stuff. So there's times when I'm cleaning up stuff and I can't see the bottom of the drawing. And usually the characters are a little thinner, actually. We do a lot of thin line weights here. Though we've been playing around with thick line weights, and it's been really... It's just been fun playing with different styles lately. And we've gotten the chance to do so with a lot of these independent game studios that are letting us animate some of their intros. Let's see there, so. Okay, we got the talons here. Let's start adding a little detail to them. At the wing here. trying to get the feathers in the right place. I'm going to color this one again because just for sanity's sake. Alright, yeah, that's looking up decent enough. And that's the same as the talons. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's good, because then it directs your eye to the guy disappearing and stuff, and by then we're panning down anyway, so... Alright, so that, now... I'm just going to finish off this one, since it's so close to being done at the end. So that's his talon here, it gets a lot bigger. Sort of an obvious thing to say, but the closer you get to the camera, the faster things move. And you can't really, with flash camera moves and stuff, and panning and all that stuff when you take a symbol and try to do it. It works to a degree, but there really isn't a natural kind of timing for something that starts from a really far distance away and ends up going through the camera. It always, it's never negative 100 or positive 100 or ease in, ease out. It always feels a little just digital or whatever, not traditional in any regard. So, you really want to zoom in at the end, and that's why I changed the timing to ones and stuff at this point. And then, he's gone, and then the feathers just remain, and those you can just do an ease out. Like, that could slow down. And you can keep getting more detail as the feathers come closer. So you're trying to follow, it's going to keep going up. These feathers right here. And you could start adding more debris and stuff and more feathers. Yeah. Then that's just the rest. Alright, so let's clean that up and then we can just play with the feathers. Oh my gosh, it's almost 2 hours already. We should just keep this on all day. It feels like the day goes quick. That is the wrong brush. All right. Little knuckles here. What was your thought process in keeping your layers organized? Well, I come from... My first job was very layer-centric because we were just learning... Flash was the new thing when it first came out, and so people were obsessed with separating everything from pupils to eyes, and there'd be hundreds of layers. So what I usually did for a project like that is I would separate the head from the torso and then have all the layers in that, and it would always be eyes were on the top layer, and embedded in the eyes were the eyebrows and pupils and all that stuff, so there'd be eye acting embedded in that. Then it'd be eyes, nose, mouth, skull, ears, hair. It would always be in that order. So anytime someone grabbed a file from someone else, they would know without even looking or even having to name the layer, that the second layer was always going to be the mouth. So we knew when to lip sync and all that stuff. From there, the torso always changed because sometimes the head was in, or sometimes the arms had to be in front of the torso and sometimes behind. So if it was a 3/4 body, we'd have to follow that thusly and stuff like that. And then every character was embedded in a symbol, so that would, so when you get a scene, you would have all the characters separated, and then the layer would depend on which layer characters in the foreground. Quick question: do you guys keep sketchbooks? This can be to everyone. I don't usually because I mean I draw a lot at home just with my kids and stuff, but I live very close to here, so it's easy to just hop here and draw. And plus we're drawing all day, so I was up drawing till 2 last night or 1:30 last night. So on my free time, I usually don't draw as much as I probably should. But no, in school I did all the time when I was traveling on the subway and all that stuff. I never really sit down to draw at my leisure either. I feel like it's always for work. Okay, so I'm going to follow these. This might even be off screen by now. I'm going to double check soon. I'm just kind of following the pattern of the shapes of these. Let's see if this is off screen. This might very well be. No, it's still on there. So those will float for a bit and we can time those out now. I probably should more. Though like my kids love drawing and stuff and love when I draw, so when I get home I draw the same things for them all the time. A shark, a frog. They're 4 and 2, so not really into anything I'm into yet. Let me see, I might change this one up a little bit. A little more detail the closer we get. Not into owls yet, no, not yet. It's a lot of amphibians and sharks in my house. And my youngest loves Peppa Pig. What's that?
Scrolling your finger sharks.
Oh, that's easy. I could do that. I bet I could do that with my eyes closed. This is a Cooper shark. That's my oldest. He's a really kind of sensitive boy, so he never wants a mean shark. So I always have to make it smile. He's never eating anything. He's always smiling. And then I always make it a symbol and stuff and have it chomping and bubbles flowing and stuff. And then I let him, he loves coloring it and stuff, so I'll make sure there's no gaps and I'll clean it up nice. And then he just loves clicking on it to color. And then I'll do this, and then he'll ask me to make it small. And then he's like, should there be a baby shark? And then we're on YouTube watching that horrendous video, and then Daddy gets no work done. So that's a Cooper shark. And Cole likes Peppa Pig, so that one's easy too. Alright, so these are going to kind of float in the air a little bit, so I can time those out on 4s. Yeah, I'm a little weird. We live next to an aquarium too, so I'm a little burnt out on sea life, to be honest. What is your girls like to do? You get to draw?
No,
No.
they can do everything themselves.
Oh, well, my dad was a plumber, and my mom was she worked at a school in like accounting and stuff. So I didn't have very artistic parents growing up. Though I found down, when we're talking about family trees and stuff, that my great grandfather liked to paint and stuff. I don't think he made a living out of it. But no, they would going to art school. I don't know if they were in love with that idea. I think they were naturally nervous that there would be no work in it. And
It's not always.
no, joke's on them. I only have to work 16 hours a day to get paid for for what they do in 6. What were you saying, Bob? That you just get to do what?
Oh no, my girls know how to do everything themselves. They don't need to.
They don't
I
need you.
can't do it.
They already have it
They
figured
got
out.
it figured out everything. I could do it. Watch out.
Wait, is that right? So what? No, that. Yeah, that works. No, it's funny. Cody has 3 girls. I have 2 boys. Like we don't have. No one has boys and girls in the whole club. We either have one or the other. I got stuck with the boys. Cody got 3.
That's a lot of girls.
Cody's got the champion. Most mouths to feed. So when Blood comes out, you guys have to buy a few copies. Cody's kids don't starve. Oh, we're over the 2-hour mark. All right. Well, let me finish up a few of these. Well, I want to end this by thanking all of you for keep tuning in, even on a Thursday, even short notice. Like I mentioned before, it really helps us. Well, it forces us to work, which is always nice, but it helps our morale when we're in the muck and mire trying to get something out there now, and just seeing a positive reaction or people just interested in our process always, makes us think we're doing something right. So if you want to check out more stuff, you can go to bloodgame.com. I don't know. Don't remind me, they're screaming it either. Cody, you want to share the Blood Game stuff? If you guys want to sign up to our mailing list, you get a free exclusive look at content we don't show on social media right away. And there's a really cool thing happening later this month that we're excited to show all you guys. And it's a pretty big deal for us, so check out that. Sign up to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all AddExit73 for anything we do post on social media. These streams are so fun. You guys are so talented. Thank you so much. Oh, anytime. Like I said, it forces me to work, and that can't be a bad thing. So keep tuning in. We'll be back next Friday, and we're gonna dive into sprite animation, and so the heat is on for Cody and Andrew, and probably Greg. He has to start writing some of this, I assume. So until next time, we enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Mother's Day, and we will be back then. Take care, everyone.